who's coming.
Yep.
Nobody's coming but us.
Hey there. So I just want you to know what the goal of this video is before you start watching it. This is going to be something different compared to what we normally do. The goal here, if I was to sum it up to one word, is going to be the word inspiration. So my goal is to inspire others to go help. As you'll see in this video, we went down and spent 3 days helping the victims of Hurricane Helene. I don't bring this up to try to get a pat on the back, but more just to try to encourage and inspire you guys to get down there. You're going to see we went to 2 small towns and interviewed multiple people as we did work down there. So these people need help, and I want to inspire you to get down there and help out in the future. This is going to be an ongoing thing, so if you don't have vacation time left for the year, you can't get down there till next spring, next summer, next fall. They're going to need your help. So we want to inspire you to get involved. The main reason we want to get out there is because this is going to be on we the people. As you're going to see and in the stories you're going to hear, the government's not stepping up like they should here, and I want you to just pay attention to that detail. It's really going to be on us taking care of our brothers and sisters down there, so hopefully this inspires you to do that.
Okay, how good are you with navigating this trail or stuff like that?
I think I'm pretty good. We've done a lot of tight spots. We do a lot of off-roading on little backcountry roads, so I think we're going to be good.
That's really up to you guys. If you like you can make it, then great. You know.
Okay. Do you know if the Google Maps directions are generally good going through town? Has us going down Elm, second to Elm?
To my knowledge, they're not. I mean, I think they're probably okay. Yeah, just be wary.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So we're pulling through what? Irwin, and we got stopped by the police just asking us if we need an escort through town because this kind of gets tight back in here. Obviously you just heard we're telling them I think we're good. So basically this section of road on 26 is closed for about 5 miles.
We're good now. They stopped us because our vehicle is so big, they were going to try to get us a police escort to go through town.
Trucks left at light use 4th to Elm Street. So right now we're on 2nd. So we'll just follow what that says going through town. You just see all those trees just pushing over high waters. And that's where the highway's closed. They're out there doing construction. Driving to our meetup spot. All that debris out of the house. We did see a FEMA disaster
Drop-off point, or
I don't know what you want to
supply
call it.
point.
But there was probably a good 5 or 6 other privately run drop-off points too, and every one of them had a lot of items at them. Mudslides over the main road. Push the side. Oh man. Bridge is gone. This part of the road was washed out, you can tell.
Yeah. Barn's washed up. saw toilet paper hanging in the trees earlier, and it looks like it's siding. It's not toilet paper. It's steel siding, just shredded.
The organization here working. Samaritan's Purse.
Samaritan's Purse over here working.
So it's been nice. We've been using Onyx down here. I was able to basically take the address, set a waypoint, and as we traveled, we were able to see where we're at. We did lose signal probably a couple miles ago. This has been real handy. So yeah, it's a mess down here. The idea here is we're just going to get out and see if we can lend a hand. I'm not sure if the homeowner wants us to video anything or not. We're going to go talk to her and see how she feels about that. We'll be respectful and do what she wants. So can you tell us about where this car ended up? It started here, right?
It started here and it ended up off the carport, back of the carport, and hit those trees. Otherwise, I think it would have just kept going down the river.
For sure, yeah.
And this one over here, it just picked it up and moved it up against the posts of the carport. I think they would actually turn over, but I don't want to do that because it's probably got too much crud in there. I mean, there's stuff everywhere in here. So this one took the brunt of the water coming at it. This one, the water came, because they're both sitting the same direction they were. So that one, if you look at the motor in that one, it looks great. Yeah.
Still gonna take some cleanup, huh? I assume that any water on the interior?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, jeez. And these are your like daily driving cars, yeah?
These are my daily cars.
Oh gosh.
That was my long trip car. But doesn't that look beautiful?
Yeah.
It looks great.
It still should be salvageable.
So,
I think, I don't know.
Well, I went in to just turn the accessory on because I wanted to roll down some windows and accidentally cranked it too far, and it did crank.
Nice.
But I turned it off, and cause it needs the oil and all that stuff changed before you do all that.
I do a lot of mechanic work at home, so I'm drawn to like the car stuff, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was hanging off down in here.
Wow. So how long was the water flowing through your yard and everything through here?
Probably about 4 hours.
Wow.
Maybe even longer, because for a few days I still had a stream out front that was flowing pretty heavy.
And you said somebody already came and scraped your driveway because it was full of sand like your yard is.
Well, it had rock. There was a wall of rock all the way through my yard.
Wow.
And over into my neighbor's yard. And none of that rock was here before, so it came from somewhere. There have been a lot of mudslides, and just the river, when it gets raging, it just, I mean, boulders tumble like nothing.
From what I saw, a lot of like the river seemed like it's wider than we were down here. We were down here about 2 months ago, and it seemed wider almost.
Yeah.
So all that rock at the side just got carried in everybody's yards, maybe.
Right, and people that are actually have property on the river, it's like a huge drop off now. It's like no step into the river access
or they
anymore.
lost the house, right? We've seen some just totally gone.
It's pretty bad. But you know, God is good. Even in the middle of all this, God is really gracious. I bought this house 10 years ago, and I sat down with the realtor to make an offer, and she looked it up on the map and she says, it's in a flood zone. And I said, well, Lord, what are you saying? And he said, your house won't flood. He told me that 10 years ago, your house won't flood. So I bought the house, and then Thursday night I went to bed because all the craziness was Friday morning out here. I went to bed, and Holy Spirit started nudging me. Cover the crawl space fence. Cover the crawl space fence. Cover the crawl space fence. He said it 3 times. And so I got up in the night in the rain, and I went out and I covered the vents. And I know partnering with God when he spoke to me saved my home.
Nice.
So I think about God knowing the end from the beginning, right?
Absolutely. Everything's in his plan.
He knows the end from the beginning, and he knew when I was sitting there with that realtor that my house wouldn't flood because he knew I would partner with him and cover those vents. I know it spared my home because this home over here, everything came up from the crawl space and ruined his house.
Wow.
It came up from underneath the house.
Yeah, I see they have tarps on the windows almost. Is that something that's since the storm, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've just boarded some stuff up and covered it in while they're back and forth working on it and getting it ready.
Wow. What's the town here, or whatever, the community?
This community is called Pensacola.
Pensacola, which is south of Spruce Pine, is that right?
South of Burnsville.
Burnsville, okay. Yeah, yes, okay. And you guys are basically north of Asheville that everybody keeps talking about, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it usually is.
Right, it's the big town. It's that's the way it works, right?
The money, yeah.
But I feel like there's a lot of, from what we've seen, but a very limited amount, there's a lot of small communities that maybe are getting donations. Is that what you're seeing? And maybe at this point, manpower is really what's important.
Right.
That's the way we're seeing it, and we're hearing anyways. Would you agree?
Right. Yeah, I'm really amazed how the body of Christ has come together, because
small
that's
churches
who
are
we
doing
have
awesome.
seen coming in here.
Yep.
Are the believers in Jesus Christ.
You're not seeing the government much, or they do come? No?
I've not seen the government.
Okay. And we've heard just they're handing out some minuscule checks if you get one at all, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna take the carrot.
Yeah.
We've seen some military vehicles and some men with the military out here, but their hands are tied and they're not permitted to actually get out of the vehicle and help.
Yep.
Which is frustrating because they want to help. You know, they're people and they see people hurting and they want to help.
Yep. We've heard a story about local community guys that are maybe retired vets that are helping, like, with security locally. You know, they're in the community, right?
Praise God.
Yep.
I have seen people from so many different states that have come in and helped, and it's so encouraging.
Yeah.
And I think it helps us to realize that it's not about what denomination you're affiliated with, because I'm seeing denominational walls fall.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't really matter if you're a believer in Jesus Christ
Amen.
and you're serving the Lord.
Yep.
We're one body.
Yep.
We're not a denomination.
So I see the verses along in your concrete. Do you have a favorite verse or something that you think embodies what you've been going through the last 3 weeks? Does anything keep coming to mind?
Strengthens me.
Can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Yes, very true.
Yeah.
Kind of what you were saying earlier. For me, my favorite verse always has been Matthew 8:28. You know, all things work together for the good of those who love Christ.
Love the Lord.
And there, it's basically saying it's in His plan.
And
you
they're
know.
called according to His purpose.
His purpose, absolutely right.
And
Yeah.
so, I mean, I see, you can look around with your physical eyes and you see a lot of devastation.
Right.
But I see something so much more than
Yep.
the devastation around me. I see the body of Christ rising up as one bride.
Amen.
And it's a beautiful thing.
Yep. Our world's in turmoil, and I feel like there is somewhat of a turning back to Christ in this time. And I think this kind of helps to, you know, push people back, or push people towards, you know, looking up as to what's really important in life. It's not about the things, right, that are around.
Exactly.
And all this stuff makes our life easy, but it's really about fellowship and loving others, right?
Right.
Yeah. And you're sharing your story, and yeah, you had to be at least a little bit afraid that night and the rain starting to build and get bigger. I'm sure that you had to kind of overcome some fear there.
Well, I survived a really, really devastating tornado in Ohio about 22 years ago.
Okay.
That was very fast.
Yeah.
You know, it was a direct hit on my home, and I was in the basement. But
What part of Ohio? Because we're by Toledo, Ohio.
Okay, just south about an hour of there, southeast of
I
there.
remember probably 8-10 years ago, we had a school that got leveled down that way.
2002.
Was it that long ago?
It was
Okay.
the greatest outbreak of tornadoes in U.S. history.
Wow.
It was quick, 15 seconds, and it was done.
Yeah.
You know, and the Lord had warned me about that. He says, don't be afraid, I'll be with you. And the fact that I wasn't afraid became a testimony to people who looked at everything that was going on, and they're like, how can you be so calm? So I had that experience, and then when I went through this was so drawn out. You know, it was several hours watching the water, knowing I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't get out the front. I couldn't get out the back.
Maybe go to your roof if things kept rising or something, maybe. Would
Right,
be not the only thing.
I started putting stuff up in the attic,
Yeah.
And trying to save my little dogs and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And about the time I was ready to put the cat up in the attic, I'm like, Lord, this cat is not going to like this. There's no floor up there. He's going to fall through the ceiling. So I put the cat down. I looked out front, and it was like, shoo, the water started
dropping.
receding. So I knew it was over. The
Yeah.
worst of it was over.
And before you could leave here, were you days before you could leave the house, or was it within like a day? Or
I had a washed out driveway at the end. There was still water flowing through here. It was days before I got out of here.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're glad you have water, power, the essentials, and maybe some cleanup of some beautiful bushes you got out here in
Yes, and
trees.
I appreciate your help.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
no big
it's
thing
just
from us, so.
wonderful that people that don't even know you would want to help you out.
Yeah, and that was our big thing coming down here. Is like, I just want to go and serve. I don't know what capacity, but you know, we want to come here and serve. And yeah, a lot of different organizations we were talking to, and so yeah, there's a lot out there. What I found is we called 4 or 5 different organizations, and we're not hearing back. So for me, if anybody's going to watch this, I would encourage you to just keep pushing forward, try to find somebody.
Yes.
You know, and part of the reason we're down here too is maybe to try to establish a few relationships, maybe, and
Sure.
you could tell us, hey, my friend needs help too, or something like that.
Yeah,
so
I know
more
a lot
little
of
boots on
people
the ground
that need
type.
help.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people down here that need help.
Yep. Yeah, the quick and easy stuff, scraping driveways to get your essentials going is fine, but I mean, all these yards are decimated. They're covered in
Right.
sand where they used to be dirt and grass, right? And
Right.
now it's like a beach. So
Right.
the work that's involved with that and pulling the rock out, it's going to be...
Lots of sinkholes, lots of driveways that are missing.
Yeah. Yep.
It's devastating.
Yeah, it's easy to drive down the road and see a bridge out and think, okay, they need help. But, you know, to drive by your place, you're like, okay, they're okay. But you still have a ton of work to be done
Yes,
here. So this is going to be
absolutely.
months, and even if people can't get down here on the spring, I feel like there's still going to be work for you to do.
Yeah.
Just come and meet some people and offer some help, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, all right, I better get to work.
Okay, thank you
Thanks,
so
Sandy.
much.
We are out here at Sandy's property. This homeowner here, and we're also going to work with the homeowner across the road, has asked the organization to come in and help out. So this yard used to be nice green grass like you see out here. Very nice. She had beautiful landscaping with gorgeous trees, and all this got swept over. So this tree right here, all the branches you see on the right side were actually swept around underneath sand. So we dug all those out, put them up with twine to kind of start giving those trees some shape again. You can kind of see the way this one was pushed. So I just kind of want to show you what is going on here. So a lot of these places, you can see all this stone and sand was never in this yard before. So there's a ton of sand that's covering this yard. We're guessing from digging down the spots 12 inches easy on most spots. This rock wasn't here, all this rock debris. Let me show you this over here. This is pretty wild. So our job here today, they've already came and scraped her basement. There was a little layer of mud in there. Again, you heard her talk about covering those windows, which helped to save a lot of too much going down in there. But look at these trees, just took a real massive debris and sand. So we're going to try to clean these out the best we can and get them stood up, which is what they're doing out there. I don't know if you can see from here or not, but we have the first 3 done, and we have like 5 more to go there. So we're using our winches, getting to use the Jeeps a little bit, which is fun. But I wanted to show you this. This is an entire section of road, probably 10 feet across and 25 feet long. That's up in this guy's yard. The road is easily 120 feet away over there. And there's actually a creek that runs right along here. So this actually was floating and landed up here in this guy's yard. Just absolutely wild. She said she used to have a fenced-in backyard. That's completely gone. So she actually had us pull the gate out of the debris. They basically had a group that came in and just kind of shoved all the debris to the road as much as they could, which is kind of what you see going on. You can see a whole house. Basically, they gutted this whole house. All their stuff inside is ruined, and they're starting to work on the inside now. The house down there, they said that that's pretty ruined too, and the couple that owns that. So a big problem here is a lot of these people don't have flood insurance. So, you know, they're having to do all this on their own out of pocket, and they're still making mortgage payments. So, yeah, I really think coming down here, just helping people, boots on the ground. Come with a pocket if you have extra cash to spare. Hey, here's $1,000 to help pay your mortgage payment this month, that kind of stuff. So that's part of what we're trying to do down here. So a couple special thanks. I'll kind of give a few throughout the video, but the club back home where we were at, Glass City Crawlers Off-Road Club, we used to run that club, and they're still doing good things. One of the things they did was they gave $500 down here, and Carrie has matched that from Discover 4x4, not the full 500, but a few $100s. And we're going to give it to the organization that we're working through, and the idea is to just kind of help the guy that we're dealing with. We talked to this morning. He didn't feel comfortable being on camera, but he had a lot of information we're going to pass along to you guys when I interview these guys later. He told us stuff that's going on down here. Some of the stuff you're hearing is true, some of it's not, so we're going to kind of share some of the things we know. Thank you, Glass City Crawlers, for donating that. So we're going to donate that to that organization. That gentleman's been down here for close to a month now and plans to stay down here. He owns a business, so he's spending time away from his business to be down here. So, you know, we're gonna help support him and give to him. If he doesn't need the money, then he can pass it along to somebody else in need down here. So yeah, these trees have tons of just grass and debris, which you can see Carrie's cutting out right now, so they can hopefully grow back. Nice for us. So we stake these up. All right, I'm gonna get back to work. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
No,
That's just safe. I don't know. I've never seen that from sea.
No, look at how there's like shiny in the
That's what I'm
dirt and the
saying,
sand
like-
out here.
So I've seen like 8 inch,
I mean, it's gold
or
color.
1/8 of an inch glass and
It's
stuff.
gold on you because it's mixed with the dirt, but I've seen.
It's just it's just like
We really
debris.
think it's just little tiny pieces of glass and like it's just
Fiberglass, just
created debris. We had no idea it was gonna happen, but it's like working with fiberglass out here. But we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pulled 1, 6, 7, 8 over there, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we got 1, 2, 3 to go, and some more debris to pick up. Each one of these has like all this right here, this big pile of debris, about 5 foot by 3 feet, and about 1.5 to 2 foot tall. And then once you start shaking it out as it comes up, you end up with this big pile of sand that's caught in that tree. I definitely picked up a lot. Well, it's starting to look a little bit better. Standing trees.
I was in a boxing match with a girl.
Standing trees. Standing trees. Carrie's over there telling stories about when she was in a boxing fight she got when she was in roller derby. What is that?
Looks like a
road sign.
a ladder or a step stool or something.
We can dig that out. We're being told that the shiny stuff is mica. Guess it's all over the rock up here. Well, it's itchy just like insulation, I'll tell you that. What's to clean up without a little chainsaw? Justin wanted an excuse to use his new saw anyway.
Hey kids, don't try this at home.
Tell they did quite a bit of work in here already. Basically this side was done mostly. Man, tools and tools and tools. Makes me feel at home. These guys are already getting to it and getting stuff out. This is why we're ending our day. We're gonna get a little work done today and then come back here tomorrow. We don't know the full story, but we were told the garage was every bit of 2 feet high of mud. And so we're getting everything out, and it looks like they kind of started. This stuff was all out when we got here. Half the garage was pretty clean. So we're starting to. So like this pack out box had all these tools that are spread right there in that box. It was super heavy. And then they're just gonna rust. Had 3 inches of water in the bottom, 2 inches, whatever. Yeah, starting to pull some stuff out. We're thinking tomorrow we're gonna set up like a wash station out back there. They've got a hose. And then worry about the big stuff first. Throw away what we think is just garbage because there's electrical tools. Like this drill, for example. Craftsman. I don't know, maybe it'd work again, but it's Craftsman. I might take the time if it was a Milwaukee. You know, I don't know. He's got a pile of Craftsman tools. Carburetor, what does it belong to? I don't know. Bucket's just full of mud.
My wife, we own a restaurant. Yeah, but we all they own that cabin.
My husband always said, you know, we're safe here. We're kind of on this little knoll. He'd never seen it happen. Nobody had. And so I never thought really a whole lot. I mean, I figured, you know, it might get up the road a little bit.
Yeah.
Not up on my house here.
Yeah.
So,
How long ago did you start building this home?
this is built in 1940s.
Oh, wow.
And then when I married my husband, we started remodeling. So
Okay.
it's in the middle of you've seen the inside. It's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like when you got to live in it and work
yeah, I
in it.
know.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I've done
So,
it.
He was doing everything right though with the 6x6s, the deck. They were these guys build stuff. They were like admiring the deck. Like he was doing a really good job.
thank you.
Wasn't just slapped up there.
No, it's done right.
Yeah, they I think a lot of that saved my home.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the debris caught the 8x8 posts and stopped it, the flow, I guess you would say, up against my house. And like my new doors stopped it from coming in.
Wow.
So I'm really thankful for a lot of this.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can come back tomorrow and get this thing looking somewhat
manageable.
presentable.
We've got pretty decent off-road rigs and stuff to get back, but it was hard to get because everything was so chaotic, and logistically for us to haul equipment down. We didn't know we'd go down a road and have to back out 5 miles
And that's the way
with huge trailers and stuff. It's like,
but it's nice to see you guys are. You guys don't have to rely on the government, though. You guys showed everybody that
I know. I mean,
you can survive without them.
But the thing is, your thought process began, all night pretty much. But when you got up, you had to have a plan about what was important and what you needed to eat and what you needed to use, so you didn't waste.
Because you didn't know
it was going to go bad. And so we had a plan every day, and it learned my son a lot. He's 19. And he learned a lot from this.
Yeah. What are your thoughts at this point? We're almost 4 weeks in, so like
almost 5.
5. Okay, it's flying by. So do you think donations of things is still important, or manpower? What's more important at this point?
The little things I think have been taken care of. It's now you're getting to the big things. People are needing their driveways fixed. They need gravel. Like y'all brought me grain to seed the yard with.
Yeah. From the homeowner side, do you guys have good communication with organizations to be able to ask for those things to get to people that want to donate?
We've had a wonderful setup. We've had fuel, all that we needed, and as far as to keep our generators going. Our generators have been donated, and they're by our churches and local churches and all.
Yeah. Oh, that's not from the government?
No.
Oh.
That is from, they come from Samaritan's Purse.
Samaritan's Purse. We've heard a lot of good things about them.
Yeah, no government.
Now, what is their plan? They see people piling up stuff like this out here. Who's responsible for removing it?
They're telling us to stay, and there's supposed to be a debris site. There's a sign down there for debris, and they're going to pick it up and take it down there. And we put ours out before it was sorted, so I don't know what they'll do. It is what it is.
So if you have a skid loader, it's the place to come down here and help out, huh?
Oh, yes.
I could see you could spend.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're not going to keep you.
Yep.
I'm starting to get cold.
Thank you for talking to us.
Well, thank you.
Pretty good day one? Feel like you accomplished some things?
It was a good day.
I feel good. I feel like we got a lot done.
It's good to actually feel useful, and not that you came here and did nothing, which I think we were all a little bit worried about with having not much information.
Hey, good morning. That is day 2. We are in Burnsville, North Carolina, camped out at a church parking lot. Yesterday we spent the day digging out landscaping and mucking out of a garage. Today we're headed back to do some more work in the garage. But what we've seen here is just, there's a lot of devastation, but people are resilient, and just people are coming from all over to help out and volunteer. Not enough people. There's still so much work that needs to be done, and just not enough hands to do it. But plenty of food, plenty of camps to stay at, plenty of places to volunteer.
So if somebody came down here, what kind of things do you think the people need, and what are you seeing that we see abundance of out on the street as far as what kind of things are already in place?
So there's a lot of water, food, hats, coats, gloves already been donated and in place. They just need heavy equipment, and they need man labor. That's really kind of what they need. They just need people who are willing to do the hard, dirty work.
So from what I've seen, people are very willing to, come here and open up a street and trim back trees just a little bit, but now coming into these next few months, and especially even in the springtime, there's going to be plenty of yard work and stuff. Would you say that's kind of the assessment you see?
Yeah, that's pretty a good assessment.
So if somebody didn't get down here till next spring, what kind of work do you think they'd be involved with?
It would just be more yard work, moving racks, pushing sand, digging out landscaping, digging out crawl spaces.
So talk about what the yard looked like yesterday versus what it might have looked like before.
Oh yeah. So the yard we worked in yesterday was buried in anywhere from 1 foot to 2 feet of sand and rocks. It just looked like a riverbed. And before that, it was just a nice grassy yard. Looks like a riverbed now, with no water.
Okay, and what kind of detailed, what are we going to do today?
Today we're going to go muck out a garage. The lady that we're working with had essentially a landslide come through her property. She had about 2.5 feet of mud and water in her garage. Her husband was a mechanic, and there's just a lot of tools in there, and it's all encased in mud. So we're dragging it out of the garage. We'll be shoveling the mud out and then treating the walls with like a germicide, make sure there's no mold and mildew growing in the garage. Then we'll wash the tools and get them back in. And hopefully we can get that accomplished today. If we can't finish that today, we'll be back tomorrow. And if we can't come back tomorrow, then somebody else will pick up where we leave off.
So why wouldn't the owner have just done that themselves over the past 3 weeks? Or 4 weeks now?
Just because they literally just got their electric on yesterday. Like, just their day-to-day living has been just overwhelming. Washing and bathing in the river because they don't have electric to run their water pumps. You know, just planning out your meals because, like she said, your food, you know, has time limits on it or whatever. So just planning their day-to-day living is overwhelming and hard enough to manage.
And at this point, we're getting into basically November, and what's the weather going to do like here? What kind of challenges do they kind of have? Basically on a time crunch, right?
We are on a time crunch. I don't know if they get snow in this area, but it's starting to get very cold. It's 40 degrees when we wake up in the morning, and then it'll get up to around 70s in the day, but then it gets cold again at night. So it's definitely starting to get colder here.
All right, well, we got work to get done. The sun is popping up. The fog is moving out. We will see you guys here on the camera in just a minute. Over at the house, we're going to be cleaning up the garage. So you'll see, guys, we've been seeing people basically come down here and rent equipment to bring in. One thing I will say, if you're coming down here to work, is getting big trucks and trailers like ours back in here are pretty hard. So yeah, you need big equipment, but I would try to compact that the smallest you can, especially for some of these little windy back roads. We're on the main highway right now, but some of these roads that were 2 vehicles wide and are 1 wide and washed out road sections. So if you're bringing equipment, try to do it the most compact way you can when coming here. Well, that propane and probably some kind of fuel oil or something there. So definitely seen a lot of products coming in. Tons of generators. Now the neighborhood we are in, they actually got power turned back on yesterday, and every house we saw had 2 generators already at it that were donated. And then the volunteer centers we've seen have stacks of generators here. So people are definitely generous. Pallets and pallets of water, things like that.
Slide left in less than a mile. Turn slide left onto Bowling Creek Road.
So as you can see, there's road closed signs, but talking to our organizations we're working through, they were able to basically confirm to us that some of these roads were open. They just closed them basically to just volunteers and the obviously people that live back here. So you'll see signs that say local traffic only. Originally, looking at this from camp to the spot we're working, Google Maps wanted to take us out and around, and it was over an hour drive. But you could see down power lines. Some of these roads, especially as we get back in here, there's down to single lanes where 1/2 is washed out, things like that. So they obviously just want to limit traffic that comes back here more than anything, because the roads are kind of delicate, and then some of them are have been fixed, but fixed basically just means shoved stone and gravel and things like that in place to rebuild that road. So it's kind of rough if you're just driving a car. So I would recommend if you come down here, if you have a pickup truck, that's probably best, at least an SUV. Your cars can drive over it, but it says local traffic only there. Road closed sign. See how beautiful of an area this is. back here in the woods, the camera probably won't pick it up, but the river used to run kind of through there, but it's actually running through the woods, through the trees now. So a lot of these areas have kind of been nature has repositioned where the creeks and riverbeds and things like that are. Car back over there, just mangled. I've seen a lot of Samaritan's Purse volunteer shirts around here. I've already said that. I see a big presence from them. And we've heard the locals talk about the good they're doing here. So. Down there by the water. So we're coming up on right now a camp. It's called Camp Miller. I guess Miller is the last name of a family that lives here. They established this area on their land, and people that were homeless could come live here, so you'll see campers and tents and things like that. So some volunteers, some people that live here that are homeless, and they've been organizing a lot of volunteer things here. They say that blue tarp was the first thing that was set up here. That's they kept it up because it's actually a bathroom that somebody created, so the locals could have a spot to go to the bathroom that were homeless. So these guys are doing a lot of good here. These are locals. Heaters, generators, grills, pump sprayers, shovels, food, water. Those are in tents back over behind me. But I'm going to turn this camera off, go grab some breakfast, because they're also feeding everybody. All right, we're live. So can you just tell people that are going to watch this YouTube, I don't have a huge channel, but a little following. We want to encourage people to get down here. So how are you involved down here? How long you been here? How long you plan on staying, all that?
So I've been here at Camp Miller for probably about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. Before this, I was in Greenville, Tennessee, helping do supply runs. But as soon as we found this place, it was like every single day. My name's Hunter Thomas. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. Me and my brother are both Eagle Scouts. And when we started seeing all the destruction and devastation, you know, on the Facebook and on the YouTube and everything, we both were just like, you know, man, this is something that we can really actually go out and do. We're both general contractors, so the electrical and the plumbing and all of that is just something that comes naturally to us. So we packed up a truck and drove, you know, all across the entire U.S. to get here, and I don't regret 1 second of it. These people are just so humble and so amazing, and the devastation and destruction that was caused here is just gut-wrenching. It's been a month yesterday that this devastation has happened. We're still finding folks here that don't have power to their houses. Yep. They don't have heat. They don't have water. And so for me to be able to come out here with my limited skill set and just be able to come out here and help these people hook up power to their house. We saw this lady the other day, and she hadn't had power for 2 weeks. She'd been sitting in the dark. She didn't have hot water. We hooked her power up, and the smile on her face that she said, man, I can see everything again. I get to take a hot shower tonight. Really just made my heart warm, and really just gives me that little extra bit I need to just really help these folks who have lost everything that they have. And it's amazing to see these people just come together and how strong this community is to just get things done.
Yeah, and so this is spanning counties and states, and it's huge. So there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people affected. So we need thousands and thousands of people here helping, right?
Yes, sir. So, I mean, if you take a peek over there at Samaritan's Purse, we need more folks like that. We need people who can just show up with a big group of people. They walk in a house in the morning, and by the end of the day, that house is cleaned out, debris free. They do mold remediation. These people are just so cool, and that's really what we need up here. Is we just need folks to lend a hand. A lot of the big stuff is being done right now. We're getting the roads cut and everything, but as far as people's individual homes, I mean, I've been in homes where there's 2 feet of mud on the ground. You know, these people are 60, 70, 80 years old, and they live by themselves up in the mountain. So really what we need is just people to get up there and help these folks with every little thing that we can do for them.
Yeah, and it's crippling, so if you can even come alongside them and help out, I feel like, you know, encourages them and helps them to push forward.
And the work's a big thing, but another thing is a lot of these people live by themselves up in the mountains. A lot of the time, they just want someone to talk to. They've been sitting in their house by themselves for 2 weeks in the dark, 3 weeks in the dark. A lot of times they just want a little bit of human company. Somebody they can just talk to and say, I'm struggling right now, and someone that can be there to help them out.
So what are you two guys riding around the side-by-side today doing?
So today we are running around for the last week and a half. We've been taking generators and hooking them up to people's meter boxes so they can have temporary power while these freaking hard-working, beautiful linemen are out here trying to restore power to these poles to people's homes. So I just heard that this whole street got main power yesterday. So me and this gentleman, George, right here, we are going down house to house to house, checking and making sure that the generators are disconnected, that main power is connected to their house, and that all of their sub panels, all their appliances, lights, everything is working for them so they can be back to 100% power.
Yeah, because we talked to this lady here. She's a widow. Yesterday we said, you know, is your power on? She says, well, I don't know how to hook it back up. So it's awesome that you guys are doing that.
It's something for me that's so easy. I'm putting wires together and tightening them down. It's so easy, but for somebody who can't do it, who doesn't have power, this is like, it's a great gift to be able to give people, you know, light and power and hope.
How'd you get hooked up through Camp Miller?
So we were in Greenville, Tennessee. We were doing supply runs with the church that we found called Towering Oaks Baptist Church. And we had been to Bernardsville, and we went down to a few other places. And one Saturday we went down to Burnsville, and we heard about this place called Pensacola up on the mountain that had been really, really devastated. So that Sunday, my brother and I came up to scout the area. And when we first got here, most of the roads getting up to camp were small little 1-lane roads that were pretty washed out and really bad. And now those boys have gotten those roads done, and it's awesome. But once we came up here and we found Camp Miller and we drove around and we started seeing the destruction and the homes destroyed and people without power, we said, this is the place where we need to be. These are where our skills are going to be put to use the best.
That's good. So I think to me, we've learned just in we've been here for a day and a half. You have to kind of get down here, get your boots on the ground, and just get hooked up. Like there's plenty of organizations.
And it doesn't matter your skill set. It doesn't matter what you can do. We need hands. We need bodies. We need people.
Lots of chainsaw work. And
you come down to camp, you walk into that operations tent, and you say, I can do this, this, and this, and they will put you to work in the next 5 minutes. They will get you done. Those boys down there are awesome at Camp Miller, and we're really just hurting for some helpers.
All right. Well, we appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Looks like they rented some equipment and a trailer. What do you got on the trailer?
I've got a little Mini X, about a E35.
Nice.
We'll be able to do a lot of work with that today for sure.
Yeah, a lot quicker than shovels, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So where'd you find it?
So when we went into the Lowe's to get the power washer, we found it was the last piece of equipment that they had at a rental place. So I rented this in the trailer. Trailer has no brakes, no lights. It was just the last trailer we had.
Jeez.
So we were running with the exhaust brake to get back, but I'm just glad we found some.
Very cool. What are you thinking, like go to these yards, maybe pushing the stone out and start making it look like a yard again?
I'm going to go over and start with her, get the rock out of her yard, push the sand off. Then I'll probably come over here to Jennifer's and see if I can't clean up some of this muddy gravel, and then check on the neighbor.
So you run this kind of equipment at work, right?
Yes.
Your business. You'll be able to work it well.
I'll be able to get a lot of stuff done.
Nice.
And he was cool. He has it rented out tomorrow, so I just got to have it there by 7:30 a.m. So
cool.
We'll be able to run it.
Run it as late as we can,
Run
right?
it as long as we got it.
Yep. Well, I got you, and you're not working yet. Talk to the camera about some of the challenges we had coming here, the roads and everything else.
You know, from my perspective, it was just the unknown and the misinformation, whether or not we could even get to these places, where the roads, where was FEMA turning you around, where the police stopping you, just a lot of unknown. Once we got down here and seeing what we see, I wish I would have brought more stuff, but we're gonna come back.
I told the camera earlier to try to pack as light as you can, though, as far as like if you bring your smallest trailer possible, it can pull your equipment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the roads are not in great condition.
Yeah, and be prepared for steep grades. Make sure you got trailer brakes.
So what would have happened when we were coming in if we had just followed Google Maps that night in the dark?
So we would have ended up on some really tight switchbacks, really steep grades. Probably would have ended up either having to back out or getting a trailer tire off the side of the road. Worst case scenario, tipping a trailer. Definitely not something we wanted to do in the dark.
Right. The one guy last night was telling us that they actually had 1-lane roads on some of those switchback roads too. So like you can't take both lanes through some of that. So
right. Yeah.
So don't trust Google Maps.
It'd have been bad. It'd have been
We did a lot of zooming in on the map looking for switchbacks and said, oh, that's not a good way to go. And the main road for us was showing it as blocked, right? But it was actually you just kind of detoured through a town for 5 miles.
Yeah. So. The maps aren't up to date. Even the state websites weren't up to date. Things are changing by the hour. Just coming in, we noticed a section of road that they had dug out that was there last night. You know, gotta get down here. Just head down, and you'll be able to. They'll use you. You know.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Let's get to work.
All right. Let's do it. Stop to get diesel for the truck. Talking to the attendant at the gas station. He lives up on the mountain, and so his house fared well, but he was watching the river down below, and there was a maybe 13-year-old boy that had climbed a tree, and so he's up in the tree. The fire department's there to get him out, and he said, don't worry about me, save my dog and my cat. I get emotional thinking about it, a 12-year-old boy thinking that way, but so they got a ladder out to him and got him out, and they did manage to save his dog and his cat. So it's one of the few happy ending stories that I've heard since I've been here, but every single person that I've talked to has witnessed death, someone die like in front of them. You know, most of the stories haven't been good. So, but one thing I did notice, every single person with what they're going through is still smiling at you, you know, still being just, the resilience is amazing, these people. So glad to be here and help.
It's about 12:30. We're taking a little lunch break. Car right here that's leaving, actually, he said he's with FEMA. He's looking for the guy that lives next door, but there's no house there. So scrap piles, got a lot of tools pulled out, multiple wheelbarrows to the road there of mud. Oh, still tons of tools to clean out here. Kind of overwhelming. I'm not sure how much tool cleaning we're going to get done. This might be our last day here, depending on what they want us to do with the organization we're working with. But I'll take you in the garage and show you how things are coming along. It's actually, we're knocking out quite a bit of work. Yeah, basically like all the toolboxes, the bottoms are just full of mud, right? So those need to get cleared out. This thing was packed with mud that was in the corner. I think maybe you guys saw that in some footage earlier. That big toolbox was here, the engine. So we got all that pulled out and we're working the mud out of that corner. Well, we're trying to decide, do we empty shelves, get the shelving out, and make sure we get every little bit out? I'm not sure we're gonna have time for that. So guys, imagine if you guys are like me, you're an auto mechanic, you have all this stuff. So when you go to clean your garage, think of what haven't I used in the past 3 years, and you know, decide what's really worth hanging on to. This is, you know, it just kind of makes me think of some stuff. Do I really need that? Obviously there are some things I know how it is. As soon as you get rid of it, you need it. Tons of specialty tools. I mean, tons of socket sets, tons of wrench sets and pliers, and so lots to go through here yet. I think our objective we've been discussing is just to try to get the majority of the mud out, which we've done a ton already, and make it so this floor space is workable for the homeowner to be able to come in here and maybe start going through all these items. We've pitched quite a bit already that we know, you say it's like a electric drill. It's just, you know, it's not going to be worth anything anymore. Welders that are just packed full of mud, a transmission that's packed full of mud, a chainsaw that's packed full of mud, the whole engine's even full of mud. Old batteries are probably not good anymore. They've been sitting on that shelf for years, that kind of stuff. He's got a lot of old batteries. Yeah, so I think we're going to try to get cleaned out as much as we can, get this floor working, and maybe try to start getting all these items moved back in here for her. Somewhat organized. But yeah, I think I'm going to have to at least clear out this because that's packed full of mud. There was a couple spots back there that were the same. Whew, it stinks in here. Let's go across the road and see what Justin's up to. That tree's full of debris, every bit of 5 foot up to the top. That's what we were dealing with, these trees we stood up yesterday. They were just packed full of sand and debris, and most of that ended up out here. Looks like Justin is working this earth out here for her, sorting out a lot of the big rocks from the looks of it. These trees we stood up, they're starting to bounce back already. Look at them. Looking pretty darn good. Looks like he's raking and just trying to get the big stuff out. At Miller's yesterday, the guys tell us they were going to bring a dump truck, and they said they needed fill, so we said, well, we got tons of that, so hopefully they're going to come get that. I don't know if Justin can maybe help get this street moved out to the street. So did you have water coming in your front door? You said it was up about a foot?
Just a little bit, it did, but I put a towel in front of it, so it stopped it. But
yeah, so I don't know if it'll come out on my camera or not, but if you guys look there, that post is the post next to where Carrie's sitting right now. So I'll turn the camera on and show you guys in a second. That is wild. And so it rained all night, and you guys basically woke up to this, is that right?
no, I'll show you.
Okay. Is that like an all-day thing that lasted all day? Or?
It's over an hour.
Wow. That porch is this porch Carrie's sitting on right here. And this is level right here is definitely 5 feet over the ditch out here. And probably a good 3 foot over the road. Wow.
So this was, hold on, 7:14 a.m.
So it's almost up to the porch at that point.
Yeah. No, well, actually, my bank
basically
was,
filled that ditch.
a lot steeper, actually. So that's this part. And then there's
Imagine
8:30.
It was pretty loud, wasn't it?
Very. It sounded like a freight train coming right through there.
And this was on a Friday, wasn't it? Is that right?
It
Remember
was.
right? Yeah.
So the first trailer, I can't remember if it was you or who I was telling, but she lost her home. Did I tell you about that one? She lost her home here. She was the first trailer. Her children's father lost away.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he was down Green Mountain, and her best friend also. That she worked for Madison County Sheriff's Department, and they was trying to get her across a creek that had flooded a road, and she was trying to cross to get to work.
Oh,
And
yeah.
a log took her out.
Oh my
on
goodness.
South
Jeez.
Side.
Yeah.
Did do you guys have much warning or anything? Like, were they saying, hey, this is going to flood, or just?
No. And then I was told, like I said, that they did send out an evacuation for down Green Mountain, but it never went out.
Like signal didn't
No,
get connected.
it was too late to send out evacuation.
Do you guys have tornado sirens here like we have back home?
Just the fire department.
Yeah, which isn't too far away. That's
That's
a couple
very
miles.
uncommon here.
Yeah.
The tornadoes. So
Yeah. I love your wind chime, by the way.
thank you. That was
Yeah.
my husband's.
So you can make them every time it rings, huh?
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
You had some yard work done in your driveway, and you said some people started cleaning. What organizations have come and worked with you, and how have you got a hold of them, or them got a hold of you? How has that worked out?
Actually, they've all come to me, and my name is down at Camp Miller, and what my needs are. Fresh Start Church near Raleigh has helped come with all my yard work. There were some people privately that came from Montana from a church. I can't remember the name, but those were the main ones. A family from Mississippi came and helped me clean up my yard last week.
So maybe they came to Camp Miller, and Camp Miller said, hey, you can go help her out?
Actually, I know they went over to Sandy's, and then she sent them over here.
Okay.
So
You and Sandy must look out for each other because
through this, when I see somebody, I send them there, and vice versa.
yeah, because that's how we got to you was through
Yes.
Sandy.
Yes.
Very nice. And hopefully it continues for you guys.
Yeah,
Hopefully
I
get
mean-
things
That's what
back
we
in
need to
order.
keep telling people is don't, it's not. It's because
an
it's out. Not
ongoing-
that it was really ever in the news, but
Yeah.
it's not. Nobody's talking about it now. It's not like it's not still here. And it's gonna take several years to get back to where
It is. Yeah. Seeing it yourself, it's just overwhelming, and thinking you're going to have to do this yourself. But the volunteers have been wonderful. I mean, we have people that from Asheboro that came through, had hot meals, just came on their own and dropped off, different supplies. In South Carolina, we've seen people. I've seen people from everywhere.
Gives you faith in the country, and people are good people out there.
people taking care of people.
That's helped me a lot. Especially, my husband passed away in January, and you kind of get, you don't have a lot of faith in things. You know, you get kind of dry and numb to things. But it just really has shown that there's good people out there. Like I said, not everything is bad. There's been good things that's come out of this. So
Good.
Well, should we do some work?
I guess I'm starting to feel really lazy sitting here watching those 15 people work over there.
Right.
And Justin hasn't stopped for long.
Nobody ever thinks about it when all this stuff happens. Your glasses, contacts. Well, we met an optician last night.
Yes, no matter what your field is, there's something. These, you know, if you work with people, like, yeah, no matter what you do, these people are in, you know, need.
We brought down truckloads of things, you know, stuff, and then it's working with.
But even as an optometrist, he said, I brought down the glasses and things, and then now I'm down here running a chainsaw this week. You know, so expect to do a little manual labor, you know. But we are getting towards the end of our day 2 out here cleaning. Our point of contact, here he says, pull your mask off. So our point of contact out here showed up just to make sure we're doing okay. We're getting all our tools picked up. You can see our scrap pile has gotten huge. Justin has not stopped with that. Let me turn the camera around to show you guys how the garage turned out. It is much cleaner than it was. There's still a lot of work to do yet. Justin came through and kind of graded the driveway. Even though it's been done once, he just wanted to run it smooth again. We pulled out some bigger rocks, set them along the edge of the driveway. Case opens, you can get some actual stone pulled in. The idea was he was hoping to kind of cultivate and pull some of the rock to the top. And you can see he's pulled some because this was all sand. We got the carport, so it's pretty much usable again. We got a couple tools yet. We're still pulling inside the garage just to get them out of the weather. I don't think we're gonna probably make it back here tomorrow. We don't really know yet. But this was that corner that had the big box and all the big mud piled up in here. So we got all underneath all the shelves cleared out. Got fans going on them. It smells like mildew in here right now. All the boxes in the center. So yeah, they're still gonna have to do a little more maybe mildew spray. We didn't have a chance to do that today, but obviously all this stuff needs just kind of gone through just by the owners. That's kind of their own deal. I encouraged her to maybe clear this stuff off the shelf and get to the bottom there, get these pulled out. We didn't want to slide that out with all this on there because the plastic shelves probably would break apart. So a little more work to do, but hopefully they can kind of just push these boxes where they need to be able to get in to clean some of the last little corners and stuff. But the big thick stuff, the mildew, is 90% out of here. Supposedly got a new door coming there and a door here to try to help keep things sealed up. Justin, one of the things he did was kind of pull this back a little bit and brought it down some, so that way when it does rain, it's not coming into the garage again. Carrie spent her day, he was in this cart right here, which is the neighbor's, filling it with tools and stuff from the garage and hosing them out in the backyard. Let's walk across the road real quick and I'll show you the work Justin did over there. Hey, look at all the sand, big pile there. That was not there yesterday. Justin's trying to get all the sand pulled back so they can get back to the good earth here, get some maybe grass seed planted. There's a ton of rock that needs sifted out of here though. A lot of work to do yet, but it is getting better. Things are looking better than they were. He was in the backyard doing a bunch of work too. I don't really know everything he was doing back there. Trees were turning. It's starting to look good. All right, it's getting dark, so we're gonna call it a night. I think our plan is to go grab some dinner, maybe down at Camp Miller. They're serving dinner, breakfast, lunch every day, so that's really nice of them. If they'll allow us, we'll get a camera going over there, maybe show you guys what dinner looks like over there. So they're helping not only the community, but also volunteers. We decided to leave a different route coming out today. These Tim and Justin are towing that trailer with a mini excavator on it, and that doesn't have trailer brakes, and the other way out's quicker, but it's a pretty steep uphill and a single lane in some spots. So coming out this way is getting a new view of things, and probably not good. Looks like where the river was used to be pretty narrow, and it basically has washed everything out all the way to the edge of the road there. There's trees. So the river is very wide now. Come across multiple sections of the road where all of a sudden it just turns to very rough gravel where they filled it in. We got a deer, a couple of them, 3 of them. Looks like a big buck running up there. Yeah, look at that buck.
Oh yeah.
High Pastures is where we have been headquartering out of, working with Sunshine Mellies. And this place also had their road washed out. This used to be blacktop, which you'll see little sections of on the side of the road there. And about a week ago they got stone put in so people can get back in here. So this place actually has it's like a retreat center, places to stay. Obviously I believe it's a horse retreat, but being used as a headquarters down here for people that are trying to help out. Alright, well, we're heading in for day 3. We don't really know what we're getting into today. We're told we're going to go to a different community and maybe help a church organize donations, and there was some talk of maybe taking our Jeeps back into some places that are a little more remote that we might be actually be using 4-wheel drive to get back into. We'll see. And running supplies. So we really don't know what the day is going to bring, but we're showing up here now and we'll see what happens. So currently we are following Jared in that pickup truck. We are at one of the donation sites. So I think he stops here in other ones pretty much daily to pass on donations and or pick up stuff for people in the community that he goes out and delivers.
Hey, you guys in the Jeep, just park right here, and our black truck's going to go over to the donation site.
See over here, there's a bunch of tents. We'll walk around and see the kind of things that are here. The man, the myth, the legend. No. So that's our point of contact down here. He's been good. I've asked him to be on camera, and he's kind of like, I don't know if I want to do that. He's just one of those kinds of guys. He's just here to work. He doesn't want to be on camera, even though I think it's a good thing if he could spread some word and kind of tell people about what's going on down here. But yeah, even dog food, tons and tons of water, canned food. Over there is some shovels and clothes and pillows, and looks like maybe grills or heaters, camping sleeping bags. Yeah, all kinds of camping gear still there. Medical supplies, baby foods and clothes, totes and totes for storage, cleaning products, paper products. So they have pretty much anything you can want, it looks like. As you can see, people are lined up here to get stuff, which is cool. So kind of just talking to you guys about what we're doing this morning. We have bags full of mouse traps we bought from that grocery store, which is right across from the donation site. We came here and said, what are some of your guys' needs? We got 12 mouse traps, sticky and not, so we bought as much as we could from the store, and we're gonna come basically fill them here so people come grab them for free. Got ice for, there's a guy here with a red top. He cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for people daily. So right now we are loaded up, leaving the donation center. We were able to get a couple saws and heaters and a couple other things. So it's kind of like a give and take type of a scenario. He knew of some items that were needed for this church we're going to, which is called Bird's Baptist. We're back on the highway for a couple minutes. So yeah, Bird's Baptist, we're gonna try to help sort there, see if there's any needs in the community. We talked about visiting 2 homes there that are going to be getting rebuilt, and maybe in the future we can help with those as well, depending on how, if we get back down here. So another part of the reason we're down here is to try to make some contacts. So if we do get back down here, which I'm hoping we can, we might be able to know where to go and what some of the needs are already to kind of give us a head start. I'll turn the camera on and get a little bit of filming of the areas we're going back into. I guess some are pretty rough, and the last 2 miles of the drive is going to be a first gear downhill situation. They said that the hill that takes us down in, there's been 2 brake fires, people trying to take supplies in. One was a box truck, and then the other one was actually a truck with a trailer that was loaded with generators that actually went over the mountainside, and the driver actually passed away from that. But yeah, we're hearing a lot of crazy stories down here. The lady that just checked us out at the grocery store, she was struggling a little bit, and she said, sorry, it's my first day back. And I said, oh, were you affected by the hurricane? And she said, well, yeah, I didn't have a road till this week. So yeah, so that's the kind of stuff we got going on. So this lady, of course, has now been out of work for the past 6 weeks, and that's where people can use help down here.
Gear down.
Yeah, that section we just came through, there's a lot of new road repair done, but it looked really good.
You'll burn your brakes out.
Copy that. Second. Now first. Carrie said she wants me to bring the camper back here and come down this.
No, do not.
Here comes the steep part. Looks like there was a landslide across the road here. They shoveled out. Mostly. Carrie wants to buy every Jeep she sees. Starting to stop, but his rear brake is, I don't know if it'll come out on camera or not, but they are stinking and smoking and white smoke pouring off them. I guess he kept popping out of gear, so he had to be in neutral riding the brake. But we made it down. Bird's Chapel Baptist Church, and just a real small community down here. They're pretty decimated. This river is super wide now where it probably wasn't out before. All kinds of section of road missing up there. Wow. And got guys down there working to rebuild road. Kind of making the assumption that this community burns a lot of firewood because people are dropping off firewood here. Got people praying over each other here. But I want to show you guys this bunkhouse over here. There's a guy named Robert that owns it, and what is going on, why he's trying to get it up and running again real quick. I guess this was built late 1800s. That building's historic to this area. Yeah, I'll take you inside here. We got a gentleman out front painting. I think I'm going to try to help him here in a minute. So let's take you inside. All right, neat little building. Looks like they got new flooring in here. They're replacing the back windows out there. But the objective we're hearing for this building is to house volunteers. So as you saw, we kind of come down to a kind of steep hillside getting in here. So getting the trailers and stuff in here might be kind of challenging. So Robert, the owner, which I might get on camera here in a minute, says he's going to try to bunk guys in here that want to come help rebuild this community. So we're definitely seeing, that's what we're seeing a lot around here, is just the locals are stepping up, asking for help from outsiders, and then people are coming. It's kind of funny, we came down this hill and we see a couple Jeeps down here, so of course that gets my attention. Turns out Tim knows these guys. Looks like they're getting ready to roll out right now, but they're I think they have a YouTube channel and some other things called Down South Adventures. They're getting ready to roll out. What's on top there is from a guy named Average Joe that does solar panel work. So he got solar panel stuff donated that they're going to give to people here in this community. So their objective is to go out right now and get those to the houses, and they're actually going to get them set up at the houses to get some remote power for these guys. So that's super cool. So yeah, give those guys a follow, and they're local-ish to the area, maybe 2 hours away, and we got their contact information, so that way in the future maybe we can work with them to they're boots on the ground talking to some individuals, asking what's needed down here. So good group to get a hold of if you're looking to come help as well would be them, Down South Adventures. What we got going on inside the church here is these guys are building some shelves. Looks like they're doing some manpower, moving some propane tanks around, which I'm going to go help there. I want to see if I can show you guys the donations inside. So here in this chapel, you can see they've gotten a lot of good donations, which is going to be great for the community moving forward here in the winter. Carrie's out here trying to help them organize a little bit, and that's what the guys are building shelves for, as they cleared out that spot over there. All right, that's enough. I'm going to go start making myself useful. I smell propane for some reason. All right, well, it is about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and this has been my day painting, but it's coming along pretty good. This place is starting to shape up a little bit. Hopefully she'll be ready to go before too long for these guys, so if everyone does want to come in and help, you can come in and do so. Those guys are sealing in some bad windows back there, so that way the weather's tight in here. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna introduce you to a friend of mine. I don't know if you call me a friend yet.
Yeah, you're my friend.
Once you help somebody paint a little bit, you get tight pretty quick. Would you mind sharing with everybody what your story is? Is this your community, or you live here?
Nope, I don't live here. I'm just a volunteer.
Okay. So what brought you here?
Just the need to help. I knew this community needed help. I went to Burnsville first, did my need there, and just something drew me down into here. And I turned the corner. I met Rob and Jesse. I seen the need, and it just compelled me to stay here. I stayed. I've offered my help. They've been very generous to me, very open to me, and You know, when you feel that sense of gratitude and sincerity about somebody, they've asked me for nothing. I've asked them what they needed. They say nothing. So you just feel compelled to help that type person. And Robert and them have been more than a friend. I call them my brothers now. That's the community. So we've just all reached out to help with the church, with Robert, and, you know, the whole community, you know. And the only thing I had to say, you know, to anybody out there right now is they need building supplies. They need tools to build back with. They need hammers. They need saws. They need chainsaws. They need skill saws, sawzalls, drills. You know, anything that you need to build back with. You know, they need lumber.
And
they need
skilled workers, right? People to come run those tools.
Yeah, they need the skilled workers, you know, to come do this. These are people that are 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. They've been in these hills for years. This is their country, you know. But they're open to anybody. Anybody's welcome. All you have to do is just come down, be open-hearted, be sincere, you know, come down and just offer yourself. That's all they want. There's so many people here that just say, I don't need nothing, give it to the next person. But they still need it. They just want you to give it to somebody else. They still need.
Yeah, so still step forward and just pay attention to the details, right, and see what's needed.
Right.
So, okay, thanks, Pastor.
Love you, Pastor.
Love you, buddy. I see you.
Okay.
So that's the pastor of Bird's Chapel. See him out here in his bibs. He's working as hard as anybody
Ronnie
else.
Buchanan. That is an awesome man.
Yep.
He's an awesome man of God.
Yep.
Before I got here, they didn't even know each other. They had never met.
Really?
Now they know each other.
Yep.
You know, that's how they are here. They stayed it themselves. Rob crossed this river when it was raging with a string and a blow-up raft to get over to the next door neighbors.
Wow.
When I heard of that, that's when I opened my heart and I said, this man needs more help than anybody because he stretched himself out to the community.
So they have a purpose for this building, correct? Is that what I was hearing?
Yes.
What's the purpose they're kind of getting together
this
for?
up to the people that come in that offer their assistance to help build this back, and they're going to house them for free. You come here, you stay. The church is going to feed you.
Yep.
You house here for free.
I just had some good chili from them.
Yeah, it's awesome food. It's brought in every day. It's hot. I have a little non-profit. We're called the Prophets of Tim. We're a motorcycle club down in Sanford, North Carolina. We operate in our community, you know, and that's what we're supposed to do, is take care of our people.
Yep.
It's people helping people.
Yep.
You know, and that's what keeps this going. You know, we've had all kind of different people come here and stretch out their arms. That's what we're supposed to do.
Yep.
Because nobody else is coming.
Yeah, so we've seen quite a few of the roads being fixed already. We can see work going on down there. As the government really stepped in and kind of done a really good job of getting stuff up and going for these people here?
No.
No? So who do you think is doing the work then?
We the people.
Okay.
We the people. And that's who's doing it.
And you've been down here for a couple weeks?
I've been down here going on 3.5 weeks now.
Okay.
Lucia, you know, that owns the house there. She said she tried to remember when she had ever been through something like this. She said never. Rob and them were up in the woods hiding from this storm.
Yep.
And he said he heard stuff hitting the bridge. And he said all of a sudden it went silent. That's when the bridge disappeared.
So this is what's left of the bridge, right? And that's maybe a beam from it way across the way?
The bridge went straight across.
Wow. So was there a road over there then?
Yeah, there's another road that went through over there.
Wow. Yeah, this was a good-sized bridge.
This was 19 West.
Wow.
And 19 West is no more right here.
Yeah, it's kind of down to one lane down there. We might drive down there a little bit just to kind of get a little view of it.
But you know, like I said, we just appreciate anybody that can come down and offer any assistance. You know, everybody's open arm. You might run into a few of the old people that might ask you to leave their property, but hey, they have that right.
Yep. Don't get an attitude, right?
That's right. Just don't get an attitude with them and do anything drastic, you know. And we'll go back the next day and they'll be okay with you.
Yeah, they got to get to know you a little bit.
That's right.
Or maybe have a connection. That's where some of the
find somebody that knows
help.
the people here in these hills. These people have been here generations. These are sons of sons of sons, daughters of daughters of daughters of granddaughters of. They've been here generations. You know, it's hard for them to open up to outsiders.
Yep.
It's their history.
Yeah.
You know? And to see their history getting washed down and not knowing what's next, who's coming, Yep. Nobody's coming but us. So we need everybody's help.
All right.
You know, pick up your guns, pick up your shovels, and come on down. You know, keep yourself safe. That's why I say bring your Second Amendment with you.
Yep.
Because you're gonna have to have it down here. There are bears, there are mountain lions, there are raccoons.
Yep.
I mean, we got a big family of 6 we're feeding right here. You know? We love them. That's our animals. We got to take care of them too.
All right, and give us your name.
Howard Smith.
All right, we appreciate you coming down and being a willing servant.
I wouldn't do nothing but.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
I'll show you guys what they got going on in here. As they build shelves and organize, things are getting a little more opened up in here.
10 grams in the bottom of the bag.
Looking good. Wow.
Where are y'all from?
Missouri, Michigan, Indiana. So this gentleman here lives just down the road, and he saw us passing and said, that's going to be a short drive because the road 100% disappears there. We said it'd be fun to try it in the Jeeps, but so he had a little perspective here, and I don't know if you mind sharing that just with everybody if they come down here to help. Some things to think about maybe.
The first and foremost is don't trust GPS, right? Because GPS will tell you this is open. If you look at Google Maps, it'll tell you this stretch of the road is open. Obviously it's not.
Right.
Right? And so what we've done is we opened up our logging road and reinforced it through volunteers. It's all been volunteers. Really haven't seen anything besides volunteers. Matter of fact, we only got out of here because my wife stood on the hood of my 350 and cut the last logs down, scratched the hell out of the side of my truck. It's better to hug the mountain than this side, right?
Yeah.
So this road right here, no one knew it was gone. We had no overflights of any helicopters at all. We saw one life flight. It was on Saturday after the storm, or maybe it was Sunday after the storm. So we posted things online in what's called the Burnsville Hub and say, look, 19W doesn't exist. But if you needed to get to the communities of Bloody Fork, Bent Creek, or even Piney Hill, we opened up our logging road for emergency use. Nice. It was not a very good road at the time, but the volunteers came in from Robinsonville, North Carolina, and he had a track hoe, reinforced it for us. Russ is on CNN. He's done a lot for us. He got that railroad base in there to try to keep it washing out, because the slope here, any rain, it's a mudslide, no matter what you do. The biggest thing is, if you see a road like this, just kind of understand it's our lifeline. If this road caves, then we're all stuck. Yep. So we are trying to kind of limit, heavy vehicles. Side-by-sides are fine, but heavy vehicles we don't want to go up and down because we really don't have permission on one stretch. We only own to the top of the mountain, and then so we're kind of going across another gentleman's property to get to the road, which is called Miller Hill Road.
Yep.
What we most people here need now is cleanup help. You can look in a 5-degree span and you'll see 50, 70 trees down. Our neighbor was just talking, he probably has $100,000 worth of lumber. We probably had $50,000 worth of lumber on this hill alone, on this side. It was definitely a tornado or something that came through, because only this mountain got torn up. That mountain really didn't get that bad. And the trees fell both ways, split down the middle. There's a poplar up there on our property that's about 175, 200 feet tall. Wow. Split right down the middle, all the way down to the ground. The wind was the most scary part for us, and the water, of course. Yeah. But we're high enough that we thought we'd be all right, but it rose so fast. I mean, like I was telling you a second ago, when it hit the bottom of our mailbox, we loaded up a couple of rucksacks, and it wasn't like we were shopping. It's like, I think I'm going to take this because it goes with these shoes. I mean, we just threw a bunch of stuff in there, right? And before we got our bag packed, it was already over the mailbox. And so we hiked up and then went to go check on our neighbor, and we couldn't find her house. And then we found her, later on that day when the water receded. As fast as it came up, it kind of went down almost.
You said she was an elderly lady too?
Yeah, she was an elderly lady. So we lost power Thursday night. We didn't even know the storm was coming. We just knew it was going to rain. We're going to drive back to Texas to pick up some supplies because we're in the process of coming back here. And so I was in bed trying to get as much rack time as I could. And my wife said, hey, you got to come out here. And I looked up. I've never seen water move that fast.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some documented cubic feet per second, how fast it moved. I think it was 30 to 40,000 times more than they thought it was going to reach.
Wow. Look at the steel I-beams.
Bent. I mean, you see this. I mean, how much momentum do you need to lift that up or bend these I-beams? Every single bridge was out. We had no bridges across any of the Cane River.
And you can see the water level it's probably
about 10 feet up.
10 feet up from the road height, and then that's got to be 20 easy feet underneath us?
Yep.
So you're talking it rose a good 30 plus feet, and you were talking about your mailbox, so how the top of the mailbox is what compared to your front door?
Well, about under 20 feet. We're lucky, we're on a high ground, but we had so much runoff that we started to have the mudslide, and it started to get towards our deck. And our deck's attached to the house. The house has been there since 1920, so we figured it wasn't going anywhere. It's stubborn. But if it got a hold of the deck, then we were a little bit worried.
Yeah.
But
so no real outside of yard damage and stuff. Your house is
I had about an inch of water in my garage.
Okay.
The water coming down the mountain. I mean, we drink out the mountain, right? So there were so many springs, so they were inundated, and the foundation couldn't handle it, so I had about 1.5 inches of water in my garage. I had a waterfall come down the steps of my garage.
Wow.
We hadn't seen that before. The community here, we knew our neighbors, and that was pretty much it. We knew Jana, the elderly lady I mentioned before, and that was really about it. But the way this whole community's come together and how volunteers have come in, I mean, I've moved a lot in my life, I did 20 years in the Army and then moved a lot when I was growing up. I've never felt anywhere like home like we do here, because we all, except for yuns. I gotta learn how to say yuns instead of y'all. That's the only thing I'm having trouble with.
Much manual labor, like to get all the debris out of the way is the biggest thing.
I mean, my wife and I went up there before we dug there for 10 hours. We went up and we said, okay, we're gonna clear a spot. When we got done, it was the end of the day. We dulled 2 chainsaw blades, and we really got an 18 by 24 area cleared. Wow. And that was it.
So chainsaws and you got to be a hard body.
You got to be a mountain goat.
Yeah.
I mean, we can cut wood.
Yeah.
But I'm not used to cutting trees.
A lot
on
of muck
slope.
and mud out of buildings and houses, because that's what we did for a lady yesterday. And it just endless.
We figured out today too. It seems like construction supplies maybe is a good thing too.
Yes.
He said he has a hard time getting. We're trying to redo a house down here. He said
Robert.
Insulation. Yeah.
Yes.
Insulation.
Yeah.
Hard to
I
come
mentioned
by.
that to my work. I said, insulation panels, and also the winter's coming.
Yep.
For anybody who doesn't have power, generator sheds, exhaust ports. You can get those little exhausts so you can exhaust it straight out.
Yep.
I had 3 box fans and I prayed for no north wind to keep our generators in a little, kind of like a little cistern area, a little I don't know what else to call it, but you'll see if you go by it. I beat holes in the concrete to try to get enough airflow so we can keep the generators going.
Are you guys back power on now?
We're back power on. French Broad, came in the other day and they were going up the logging hill, so I set up an ambush to talk to them when they came down. Every time I've asked somebody about the road or power, it's always the same thing. It's like, You know, they won't look you in the eye. And I was like, dude, I know it's bad. You know, it's like, just give me an idea. He said, man, it's
Be
gonna
realistic.
Yeah,
I gotta know what I'm.
it doesn't matter. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. It's not like I'm gonna shoot you because I don't have power. You know, we're not like that up here, thank God.
Yeah.
But he said, it's gonna be 6 months.
Yep.
And I said, okay, cool. You know, I got it. And then the next morning, I heard a bunch of ruckus and went down there, and they went back and figured out a way to get power.
Awesome.
And so they dropped the pole on our side because I figured I wasn't getting power until we got a road.
Yeah.
But they dropped the pole on our side, pulled it back across, bada bing, bada boom, and
The
we're up and
linemen
running.
here, I feel like, have been amazing.
They've
just been in some crazy places.
Yeah, and there are no easy places to
No,
get to.
there's not one.
The main Highway 19 looked pretty good. That's about it, and that's even that's devastating.
And really,
to drive.
the other side.
19 were pretty insane. Seeing some of them.
Yeah, I mean, if you get to Pensacola area, I've heard
That's
that
where
was
we've been the
really
last 2
hard.
days.
Yeah, that's where we were working.
We've been trying to get a hold of a friend in Pensacola and hadn't been able to catch in Micaville too.
They got power 2 days or 3 days ago. 2 days ago.
We got power on Monday.
The lady we were helping said it took her 5 days to hear from anybody.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. We couldn't contact anybody. There was no comms anywhere. So what we did is we walked up and down. We met everybody. We got a list of names and numbers, and we hiked out and hitchhiked down to Mars Hill. My cousin lives there. Of course, they didn't have power either. So we're in a spot where it's safe, but we still can't contact anybody.
Yeah.
And so then we started contacting people, and then Danny and his family got a hold of them. Got a hold of the rescue squad on the way out for Jana. It still took them to Sunday morning to get there because they showed up with a foot patrol. I said, in my text, east side of the river, other side of the river. I said, you can't get to her. You need a fast water rescue. It's like, well, we didn't know that. So it's in the text. It's, I don't know how hard. I don't know what else I can do.
Right.
But it took them to Sunday morning to get her out.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's about it.
Well, we're glad you're safe. And do you mind sharing your name at all?
I'm Bill Pierman.
Good to meet you, Bill.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for chatting and
Justin?
not giving us too hard of a time for driving down
not
here.
at all. I'm not like that, man.
So
life's too short to be an asshole.
I wonder how many homes actually. We'll never know the true numbers either, though. They won't. They're not going to release that kind of stuff. And there's really nobody out here to document it.
I mean, this is just we got a small sample of.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
We
what
went
we were
to
saying.
2 corridors out of hundreds around here.
Everyone's a different story.
Right.
Common denominator though is people helping people. Not they don't need outside help.
So you shouldn't be here.
They greatly appreciate us now. They are figuring out how to utilize everybody.
I think it's a matter of trying to build some relationships so they trust you and they're okay to say, yeah, I want help. Or
It's very proud people here don't want help from the outside, but then they realize they need it now.
Yep.
And it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of muscle to get their community back.
Definitely see like the, don't help me, help my neighbor, but they're both in need,
Yes.
And then we come up the highway right here, and the sign says, "Thank you," big flashing sign. "Thank you for helping us."
Right.
Yancey.
It's been very humbling though, like being here. We just take a lot of things for granted, and now knowing it can just be taken away.
Yeah.
These people are just very strong. So I hope my community's like that if we ever are in need.
I think as a whole, Americans are good that way, and I think that's the case.
You can't believe what you see on the news.
Yeah, like that guy said today, it's the big news thing is the Biltmore's got mud on the floor, and then you got people that are stranded because their roads washed out and they've been stranded for weeks, or whatever. So
it's the little towns that we drive through that make these communities go. It's like every community we went to has a factory or it has this that makes this, but you don't hear about them because they're not the flashy cities. They don't have all the flashy money, but they're the ones that make everything run. We went by an IV factory earlier.
You guys hang in there and
keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, we may see you in the future.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Thank you.
is that Camp Miller?
Yeah.
So we ended up finding out the people here doing food and extra food. They were offering it to us. We just don't have I don't have use for there's cases of water.
30 pounds
so
of hamburger.
we told them Camp Miller's doing great things, and that's a good place to put that. So I've heard you talk about it a few times now, your perspective on, because you have experience, you were in the military, right? What's your service before, and what do you think? You said that you kind of feel like there's lacking a presence here, right?
Yeah, so I just take for granted after seeing what like the state of Missouri, like our National Guard program is amazing. Especially after seeing this down here. I mean, I couldn't fathom not having what we have back there now, and how fast of reaction that the National Guard in Missouri can mobilize and overcome pretty much any adversity that we come across in Missouri and other states. Like Missouri sends soldiers all over the world, and here, I mean, let's say out of just 10,000 people here, you might see 50 soldiers. You know, no equipment. We haven't ran into any usable equipment. No dozers. Like, I mean, that's the number one thing is engineers. You know, and they just don't have. They won't. I don't know if they won't let them in here. Or they're just not in here. But we haven't seen any of them.
Yeah, and of course this is just one small area, but this seems to be what we're hearing around, right?
We can count the number of people in uniform that we've seen on one hand.
Yes,
I mean,
I just noticed a site that I hadn't noticed before up on a hill when we were coming up the highway, and it probably had 20 of those. What's the big trucks that?
Like the big MTs and stuff like that, and then the 5 tons,
and like 50 dump trailers, but all sitting there and not a person moving anywhere and not a person in sight. So it's like they brought some equipment down, they got here, and then they just aren't doing anything.
From what we've seen, if it wasn't for the civilian contractors forking over all their time, all their employees, all their money to get all this going again, all these bridges are built on the community's back. Like, they've done it all. They haven't had to rely off any government. I mean, I don't know how the power line people working, but they're probably one of the coolest groups we've seen out here. They just go into some crazy places. These people were supposed to be without power for 6 months to a year. They weren't going to have power, and they've had it on in weeks.
Yep.
Which has helped tremendous amount here. It makes the recovery effort
as simple as having a hot shower. Like, we talked to people that haven't had a hot shower in almost 5 weeks. Yes. And that's something you take for granted. And yeah, I'm sure cold showers are trendy, but
yes, be able to sanitize, wash your dishes, and do all that stuff.
5 weeks.
Well, just
the mud here is. I've never seen so much mud.
The garage we cleaned out. She said, for days she washed her laundry in the river and took her baths in the river.
Yeah. Which has all kinds of debris and who knows what funk stuff in it, right?
Yeah.
I just hope that people can come down, even if it's for a few days, 2 or 3 days. I've been blessed for the friends I have here to afford me the opportunity to make a small dent in a few people's lives here. But if everybody can do it and come down and just help, just manual labor, if you can come down and just help move mud out of people's houses, because mud is everywhere. Mud and rocks and sand.
Yeah. We keep saying just 2 days, right? Like, most people have 2 days left in their vacation schedule, at work.
We did a lot in that 2 days, the 2 full work days that we were here. We impacted, multiple people's lives just in the little bit that we've done, and it's just,
Yeah, I would say come down here, be prepared to work, and be prepared to be tired. It's going to be nice, long, hard days, but it's the reward is there, right?
You could go to any donation center and say, hey, we're looking for work, where could you send us or whatever, and they'll know somebody who can put you to work.
Anyway, let's end this thing up. You guys have any other closing words? I think we said pretty much everything, but
it's just going to be a long process. Hopefully people don't forget about this place, and move on to the next place. It's going to take a while, and they're just going to need everybody's help.
Even next spring, right?
Yep.
And I just say, don't believe what you see on the news and social media unless it's from a local.
Or this video.
Yeah, in this video. But we're here. Yeah. If they're not here, standing on the ground, I wouldn't listen to a word they say.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for coming out and volunteering your time. It means a lot to Carrie. She has a soft heart. So.
Thank you for letting us come.
Who's coming?
Yep.
Nobody's coming but us.